Hey there, first grade. Before we start our lesson, I just want to say how much I had so much fun seeing your found objects self-portraits. I thought they were adorable. I think you guys did such a great job with that. You really used your creativity to find random things around the house to create gorgeous self-portraits. So they made my day. They made my entire week seeing those. If you have more of them, definitely feel free to email them to me. Because I love seeing your artwork. So as much as possible, if you want to send me your next drawings too, please feel free to email those to me as well. Again, really great job. I miss you guys very much. I hope you guys are staying safe, you and your families, everybody, and are still finding ways to have fun. I think you'll really enjoy this next piece of artwork that we're going to make. So have fun, good luck, email me or come see me in my office hours if you have any questions for this one, okay? All right, I'll see you soon. Hope you're doing well. All right, boys and girls, so for this next lesson, we are going to take a look at the artist Romero Britto. And I know we've talked about him in the past, especially if you remember us doing our pumpkins in the style of Romero Britto. We're going to do something very similar, same style, except this time we're going to be doing a self-portrait. So I won't spend too much time on the artist himself because I know we've talked about him in the past, but there are a few things I want to remind you of. As a recap, he is a Brazilian-born artist. He's actually considered a neo-pop artist, which means that he is a new popular culture artist. And all that means is that he likes to create things that you see all around you. So for example, his puppies, he has kitties, he has rainbows and hearts, and even this Darth Vader drawing is an example of his. Now, in his artwork, he uses a lot of bold, vibrant colors and patterns, and he does this to kind of reflect his optimistic view of the world around him, which I think is perfect for us going through what we are going through at the moment. So we're going to be creating a self-portrait based off of his bright, colorful, artistic style today. Okay, so all you'll need for today is a piece of paper, a pencil, and some kind of eraser, just in case you make mistakes. Now, if you're holding your paper sideways, please make sure that you're holding it up and down, so you're holding it in what's called a portrait, so not landscape, but portrait, so up and down. So don't forget that you have the entire paper to be drawing your portrait, and I want you to take up the whole paper. I know that this is my biggest pet peeve, but make sure you're drawing huge. If you draw too small, you'll never see any of the nice, beautiful patterns that you create. So make sure you are drawing as big as you can. Now I'm going to go ahead and start drawing my head shape. And just notice how big I am drawing it. In a second, I'll outline it so that you can see it a little bit better. But look, that takes up pretty much almost the whole page. Right in the center, a nice big kind of egg shape is what you're going for. If you need to trace a bowl or something like that, you can absolutely do so if you want more of a rounder shape, or if you just need some help getting that shape correctly. So what I'm showing you is that even though I drew nice and big in the center, I still have space above if I need to add hair or patterns, and I still have space below so I can add a neck and some shoulders too. So you still have some space, it's nice, it's still big in the center there, and we're still able to add our patterns later on. So here I'm just going to trace over mine with a marker. Please do not trace yours with marker yet. You do not need to be drawing with marker. I am only drawing because I want you to be able to see, because I know it's very hard to see when I draw in pencil, but do not draw in marker. Draw in pencil first in case you make a mistake. So your next step is going to be going ahead and adding a neck. Now your neck should not be a tiny little twig. It should be pretty big. Our neck is actually right below our jawline, so it's pretty thick. So right below our head, we're just going to draw two lines straight down, not all the way down, just a little bit so that we can create that neck so we don't just have a floating head. And to add to our neck, we're going to create some shoulders, I am going to add a little neckline, so as if I'm wearing a t-shirt. And then my shoulders will just be kind of horizontal lines going all the way down to the side of the paper. Just little slants, just like that. Nothing too specific, just little mountain slants going down off the neck. So what I'm drawing next is this kind of, and I'm going to draw this in pencil so I can erase these later. I am drawing this little cross almost in the center of my head, and I'm going to draw one going the other way too. And what this is this is showing me where my eyes will go, and this is showing me where the center of my face is. Now I'm drawing this because I want to know that my eyes go in the center of my head. They do not go on the forehead. They go in the center of my head. A lot of people have a tendency to draw their eyes all the way up here, which looks like you have eyes on your forehead. So make sure that you are drawing them pretty much where the center lies. And I'm sketching this in pencil because I know that this is a tough shape. And I'm drawing my eyes, which are kind of like, again, you can do ovals. You could do a football or a lemon shape. Or a round circular shape would be fine as well. So I'm kind of drawing as best as I can. I'm trying to make them even with the other side. And I know that this could be a little bit frustrating getting them even. So if you need to, you can kind of draw other lines to help you make sure that they are going right in the spot where they need to be. And again, we're using a pencil, so if you need to erase, you can always erase. Please remember, they don't have to be perfect. I know that some of us have a tendency to try to make things perfect, but this is one of your very first portrait projects. So if it does not come out perfectly, that is okay. Just do your best. So now I'm going to draw the colored part on the inside of my eyes. I personally have brown eyes. Some of you have blue eyes. Some of you have more of a hazel eyes or green eyes. So we're going to draw that part. And if you notice, mine isn't taking up the whole eye. It's just taking up part of it. And if you have a mirror nearby, you can also see that inside of our eyes, inside of the brown or the colored part, depending on what colored eyes you have, there is a little black dot. And we're going to go ahead and draw that as well. And now we have the basic part of our eyes done. So I'm going to go ahead and add some details. So I'm going to create an eyelid, which is that part that closes over your eyes when you blink. I'm going to do that on both of them. It's just a little line right above the eyes that you've drawn. And let's add some more details. So I'm going to add some eyelashes as well. And you don't have to add these details if you don't want to. I personally like seeing those eyelashes on there, so I'm going to draw them also. Now for eyebrows, you can draw them any way you want. My eyebrows are a little bit, they have an arch to them and they're a little bit smaller. So I'm going to draw them a little bit more curved, but you guys can draw them a little bit bigger. You can draw a rectangle if you'd like to, or if you want to, you can go look back at some of Romero Britto's examples where he has more of a rectangle, a skinny, long rectangle shape. But I am going to make mine a little bit more arched because mine are a little bit more. Alright, so let's get to the nose. I'm going to draw a little line there and a little line there. And the top one is going to be for where my nose will go. And the bottom one will be for where my mouth will go. And so I'm going to create a line from my eyebrow going over, and I'm just going to make a little bump off the side of my face, which will look like my nose. And then I'll add a little bump off of my nose. That'll be my nostril. And again, This doesn't have to be perfect. I'm just creating a bump really, and that's all you really have to create as well. So I know we're doing more of a kind of realistic portrait, but if you don't like this shape, you can always do like a triangle, or you could just do a little bump or things like that. So don't feel pressured as though you need to do this exact same drawing, because you don't. You can make it your own if you'd like to. And now for the fun part, I'm going to go ahead and make my smile. I'm going to make a nice big smile, an open mouth kind of one. So I'm doing kind of like a half moon shape, if that helps any. I'm personally drawing an upper lip. That's what I'm drawing right there. Again, you don't have to if you don't want to. And I'm going to go ahead and add a little tongue as well. So it looks like her mouth is really open wide, smiling big. So moving on right ahead, I'm going to draw some ears right next to my eyes. And some of you have really, really long hair. So maybe you don't have ears that show all the time. I know sometimes if I put my hair in front of my ears, they don't show. So you may not have to draw those necessarily. If you're a boy and you have shorter hair, or if you're a girl and you have shorter hair, you might want to add your ears. I'm adding them just because I want to show you how to draw them. Okay, and next we have our hair. So if you have a mirror nearby, this is definitely a good time to take out your mirror, especially if you haven't used it yet and you need one. I have bangs, so I'm going to go ahead and draw my bangs going over my forehead, because they do. And down on the other side. And then I'm going to go just above my hairline as well, so right above there. And if you don't have bangs, you should still draw your hair up above the headline. And boys, that goes for you too. If you have hair of any kind, you should definitely be drawing it just above that headline that we've already drawn. After I draw out my hair, I'm going to go ahead and add some extra lines on the inside, just to add some patterns and some natural patterns. So I'm adding lines, and of course you can add any kind of lines that you'd like to. I'm just doing some very straight, solid lines on the inside of my hair. So finally, after I add those extra lines in the hair, I'm going to add some other ones around on my face, my shirt, and the background. And I'm doing this to kind of separate different areas of my portrait so that later on I can color them different colors and add different patterns within them. And if you go back and look at Romero Britto's examples, you'll definitely see some lines kind of separating the face, the shirt, and the background. So don't be afraid to add a few extra lines here and there. I'm also going in and adding some shapes on my cheeks, just like Romero Britto did. So I'm going to add a circle on this side, and I think I'm going to add a heart on the other side. Again, you don't have to do a heart, you don't have to do a circle. You could do 2 hearts, you could do 2 circles, you could do squares if you want to. It's completely up to you. I just enjoyed the heart and the circle. And then last but not least for today, I'm going to take a thin marker, and I am going to go through and trace over every single one of the pencil lines that I made before I color. And we are not going to color these today. We'll talk about coloring next week. So for today, just go through, draw your image, your self-portrait, and add some details, and go through and trace over with a small marker. And that'll be it for today. I hope you guys had fun. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask me in my office hours.